In the Champions League, do you have a feeling in every game when your team plays it's stable?
Yeah, in general, yes. We had great results away, where in the past always we had the problems. But in this competition, every game is completely different and something special to handle. So it's not a competition like on all another sports. Who deserve more always win. In that competition can happen, but sometimes cannot happen. So the episodic situations take a lot of influence, and you have to try to control it.
And just the scoreline you have now, 3-2, going into this game tomorrow, is it maybe a dangerous scoreline for your side, because Schalke obviously come here knowing they have a chance?
Well, I prefer this score that the last time we went in Anfield, for example, no, but we had to play with 3-0 down. I prefer this score, really, honestly. But you know, it's 90 minutes, and still you have job to do.
Sorry, Pep. Just on that, do you think it will, your team will be asking for trouble if they think they've already got one foot in the next round, if they think the job is almost done? And do you think the Champions League generally is becoming a lot more unpredictable as a tournament now?
We have the tendency, myself as well. So when we see a draw, always say who's going to win, and after the first round, everybody knows who's going to win the second one. And I think 1 week ago we didn't expect the PSG would happen, or for example Real Madrid. So it's not to put examples because every game is completely different, but the approach for the players, when you are, the people say you have nothing to do, so okay, we go there, it's completely different, and one sent off, one red card, one goal in the first minutes. Many things can happen in 90 minutes in this kind of competition and take a lot of influence in the results. So I would say we are quite lucky that we played 23 or 24 minutes, 10 against 11 with 2-1 down. So normally in these circumstances today, you are almost out of this competition. So we were lucky, really. So because we were quite stable, and Leroy making incredible action for the second goal, and after that we scored the third one. But in normal circumstances today, we should make an incredible effort on epic situation to go through. So that's why what happened in the first game can happen in the second one. So that's why don't change too much what we have done, and prepare the game into reading what we need to win the game and go through. That is what is going to happen. But today I'm sitting here thinking still we have job to do, work to do. That is my feeling today.
Pep, Simon Stone, BBC. The incidents that happened at the weekend at Birmingham and Arsenal and in Scotland, does that make you concerned for your players and your players' safety?
It's not about my players. It's the players in general.
Well,
so hopefully it cannot happen again. Maybe it's a problem with the society, not just in the football event. And of course, the people who is involved with it, I know it is just regarding for Birmingham in that case or Arsenal in that case, of course, can happen here. Today is not walls, it's not, you can happen. It's just to work from the beginning, to work about the culture, to avoid better human beings, to avoid these kind of things.
is it a concern for, not specifically you, but for managers, that the work that you do can be undermined by one person running on a football field and do that? Because people talk about stadiums being closed and fines and bans from competitions.
But I think that is a question for one person. I think Birmingham is not guilty for anything about that. So if a person is guilty of that, it's the person he did that, not the club. So sometimes we misunderstand really where we have to put the focus. And I think the clubs, they try everybody, but you cannot control absolutely anything. We cannot control the behaviors for the people on the street, for many, many things, for the, I think it's the the guy, he did that, is the main responsible for that.
Hey Pep, Jack going for the Mail. How much has Raheem Sterling improved over the last 2.5 years from the player that you got at the start and who you've got now?
You make a lot of times these kind of questions. I would say thanks for me, but believe me, I don't believe that. It's all the credit is for him.
No, but in terms of how much has he improved himself?
Myself.
No, himself. How much has he done for himself over the last 2 years?
It's a question for him. I don't know. Hopefully a lot. Hopefully. But it's a question for him. So really, I don't know. All of the people we are here working with the players try to help them. Sometimes realize right now, sometimes it's happened, sometimes not, sometimes they realize in next 10 years, I don't know. So we try to do our best. But it's always the same. It depends of their own qualities and the effort they put. So at the end, we overestimated what the managers we have. And at the end, it's less than we expect. Always we can do the same line all together. That is only we can do if we have to. But at the end, all the credit, the praise, the good performance depends of themselves.
And for you, what do you think he needed to do more in the first half on Saturday?
They didn't follow his fullback 2 times, and they have to follow him. The second time they drop him, so he continued, and after he forgot it. He lost 2 or 3 or 4 balls when he has to avoid it because he consider counterattacks. And many simple things. So of course I'm so glad what he has done in terms of score 3 goals. So it's perfect. I would like to play the first half he played, and score the second half the 3 goals. I was the happiest man in the world. But I think it's good for myself too, to feel that we can do better. And I feel the first half was not the best performance Raheem has done this season, and that's why I told him, and that's why we work on that.
Hi, Pep.
Hello. 84 Beauty. Pep, hi, Dave McDonald from the Daily Mirror. Your predecessors here, Mancini and Pellegrini, won the Premier League title, as you have done. With that in mind, how important is it for you to deliver the Champions League here, for you to stand out from them and elevate the club to the level that everyone here feels it should be at after all the investment that's been made?
I said again many times, honestly. So all the clubs that are in the group stages, in the last 16, the last 8, 14, want to win this title. It's so nice. Put in perspective, is wow. It's another step, but it's difficult. So this competition is judged when you are out for a last 16. It's a big disaster. It's a big failure. My perspective, my approach is completely different. So it's a big success being there for the teams who's win this season, the next season in the Champions League will be a big success for this season. We are closer, Liverpool and ourselves, we are so close to do that. When you go through to the group stage, it's incredible success, my point of view. For the people say, no, it's normal, it's easy. But few teams, or important teams, and every season is more difficult, go through group stages, every season will be more difficult. And imagine to go the last 8 best teams in Europe. Go in this stage, another one is an incredible success. I approach these competitions in that way, to try to do good games and go through. And after, it depends on the performance. I will judge our pass from this competition. That is my point of view. But of course, we want to win it. But the teams were out in the group stage on the last 16 on this kind. Also, they had that desire. Everyone do it, but just once. So, and if you don't win next season, try to do it.
But this is the one trophy that the club hasn't won, and it's the one that everybody here wants to win. So can you understand from that perspective why there's more focus and in a way more pressure to deliver this trophy?
No, I don't feel this kind of pressure. Also, PSG won this pressure. Always Chelsea, a long time ago, working that for them. They spent a lot of time to win it. And so, yeah, everybody won it, but don't put more pressure. My pressure is to do a good job and try to do it and compete better in 85s and quarterfinals, improve the mistakes for the past in that competition, to reduce our mistakes. It's a competition like punish you a lot, your own mistakes. especially for the quality of the opponents. Because you when play one game in domestic game is another game is another game. This competition is not another game. It's a special game. It's something like the players do something unique, and the focus are incredible. And when you make something wrong, they do it. So try to do it and try to they did 2 shots on target, Schalke, and they scored 2 goals. So that is the best definition from that, And we played 23 minutes and 10 against 11 when we could avoid that second yellow card from Nico. We could avoid it because it was far away. The player is behind. He's not attacking you, and that competition dictated you go through or you go out. And I said it before, we are lucky. We are lucky today. We are here in a 2-3 up and could be maybe 3-1 down or 4-1 down. So that is the reality in that competition. That's why it's work to do, be calm and focus what we have to be tactically, mentally to win that game.
Hi Pep, James Robson from The Standard. Were you relieved last week to see Real Madrid go out?
What the people think about, because Real Madrid is not there, this competition will be easy, is because still they don't understand what is this competition. In fact, of course, it's the last incredible 4 times winner in 5 years and 3 in a row. So in Europe, it's not the best team in this competition. It's the best team in the last decade. So it's incredible what they have done. And the people say, oh, they are not there. And after we have, of course, I thought they are the favorites because if they are able to win 3, they can do it 4. But it still remains in incredible clubs, so incredible teams. So to beat them, and hopefully we can be in quarterfinals. And after when we see if we could be there, so I think the teams will be there will be quite similar level like Real Madrid because they are top.
And this competition is obviously it's been really important to you as a player and as a manager, as Dave was saying, is to this club as well. But the fans will probably boo the anthem again tomorrow. They do all the time, and obviously after the UEFA investigations, even more so. Do you have a message to the fans? Because you saw at Anfield last season the effect that the crowd can have on these sort of big occasions.
Yeah, but I think the last time is less boo about this kind of situation. I think that my feeling is now the people, maybe I'm wrong, but I start enjoying this competition. They're feeling like not just the Premier League, and they're feeling like we can do it. So together. So that's competition. I'm pretty sure. Alone we cannot do it. We cannot go through. We cannot make a good performance every time when we feel, for example, Liverpool this season and in the Premier League, or even last season the Champions League against Liverpool, we were with them. So that is what we want. That is what we want.
Hi Pep, Paul Hurst from the Times. Schalke have lost their last 3 matches since they played you. Have you still been able to find any kind of areas of danger that they could pose in watching those 3 matches?
But that is when I think my message in that competition, when I realized the last 1 month or 2 months we were better than them. So we played better. In terms of result, we were better. We cannot deny it. I think my colleague cannot deny it. But it's one game. It's completely different. In one situation, and imagine scoring 1 goal in the 5 minutes and red card. Bad decision in the 18-yard box, penalty, red card, or something like that, and score a goal. So everything is open. So that's why it has to be focused, because when we're judging about what happened in the last fixtures, okay, we're favorites, we're better, but it's one game and everything can happen. We saw it last week, really. Before the game, few people can expect, United show his incredible character, personality, and 10 injured players. Nobody expect, the PSG all focus the season for that game. They have, 20 points in front of in their own league. So nobody expect. Madrid the same. So 1-2 in Ajax, young players. Of course, a lot of history in Ajax, but the young team go to Madrid, and what happened? So it's the same example in today. So that's why it's not to think too much and anticipate it. What would happen if we were through or we were out? So what we have to do, that is the best way.
Hi Pep, Ben from Sky. In these press conferences, you often talk to us about the history of clubs in particular and having to compete with Barcelona's and Liverpool's and where you're coming from as a Manchester City manager. I just wondered, for Manchester City to effectively get a similar history, what does the Champions League trophy kind of, is that the doorway to being spoken about, you viewing City as being in the same conversation as those kind of clubs?
Well, we could win, of course, and we'll make another step. But you said numbers that you need 20, 30 years to try to...
Is it just numbers then, not, the silverware itself?
Of course, we cannot deny it. You arrive in the last stages for this competition. We will be able to make another pass or step forward. That I cannot deny that. But I think to compare with that kind of teams that you name, one silver don't change it. Believe me, don't change it. We are teenagers in that competition. That is my feeling. That is what I feel. So it's not excuses. Of course, we want to win it. We push ourselves to, guys, we'll be not good. Don't go through and go the last. We won. The best way is to feel this kind of pressure. I think to arrive in the last stages is not to think nothing happen if we don't win because this club don't have history in the past. That is not the way. You have to dream. You have to point as high as possible. But in the same time, you have to accept there are another team thinking the same with a lot of quality, with a lot of talent. And the English teams right now, United and Tottenham, are there, and we cannot deny how strong they are. But of course, in 90 minutes or 180 minutes, everything can happen. And of course, we want to compete against them. What we want is to face them. So we spoke many times with the players. So you have to have the desire to compete with the best teams in Europe about how is our level. If we can face them. And that is the competition show it for itself. And that is what we do.
Hola, Pep. On the last press conference on Saturday, it was, you talked about your contract and you said that you're going to stay here for 2 years, maybe one more, you said. Today there has been suggested on the English media that you have told to your people that you could stay here in England for the next 4 years until 2023. So what's your take on that?
They have more info than me, than myself. So... like that. I have 2 more years and that's all. So, but if the people say I already spoke, and it's the same question. So many infos that are not true, but I cannot come here and deny everything or comment everything, every new they are there. I would like to be more serious at that or receive more serious about the infos, but I cannot say anything else. So I have 2 more years. I will be here and hopefully, and the future I don't know. Okay.